How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another Solidworks lecture. So for this lecture, we're going back to parts, and we're going to continue on and adding even more tools to our arsenal that we already have for creating more advanced parts, something that require a little bit more intricacy than just simply an XYZ coordinate system. So let's go ahead and jump into a new part, and we're going to work on creating lofts with special kinds of guide curves. So let's start with just simply creating an easy loft. So I'm just going to put a circle here, give it some dimension, say 5. So that's going to be the first profile for our first endpoint. Now I'm going to create a plane that is, let's see, nope, I don't want that plane, I don't want that plane. And I want it to be, let me delete that, 5 inches away. And I'll create a square on that. And I'll give it some dimensions. I'll make it 6 by 6. All right. So now I've got everything that I need to make a very simple loft. To do that, I just come into Features and Loft Boss Base. And I click on this one, and I click on this. And I can create a simple loft where I've got this guideline that'll sweep around to create it. But let's just say I want to have a more defined guide curve that I want to use to create this. So let's jump out, and I'm going to add in another sketch element. So I'm going to go and sketch on the front plane here. I'm going to hide this plane just so it's easier. Go normal to it. Now I'm going to create kind of a spline. Where is my spline tool? There it is. There's spline. So I'm going to go here, here, and here. So that's the kind of shape that I want to use as my guide curve. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump out. Now I'm going to go to Features, Loft. Now I'm going to select the profiles first. So this profile and this profile. And now for the guide curve, I'm going to select this line right here. And it's going to force it into the shape that I want it to be in. Now this is the guide curve that's going to sweep around to kind of get it into the shape that I want it to be in. And I kind of adjust this guide curve to get it in the shape that I want it to be in. So I'm going to go back into the loft, and I'm going to adjust this a little bit, edit, where I can kind of move it out like so. And that'll readjust my loft. So let's go a little bit more deeper into lofts. Let's say if I have more than simply two profiles that I want to pass through. Let's say I want to create like a handle shape. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete this loft. Delete all these. Yes to all. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and sketch. I'm going to select this top plane right here. I'm going to create my first curve right here. I'll make it 2. And I'm going to define it as being 4.5 here. And I'll put it in line with this origin. Alright. That's my first curve. I'm going to create another one. Top plane again. I'll create it on this side. I'll define it as being, let's just say 3. Make it a little different. So then, and 2 as my dimension, and it's going to be inline. Actually, let's make it just a little bit smaller. 1.75. There we go. That's good. All right. So now I need to have the curve that it's going to ultimately pass through. So I'm going to go sketch. Oops. Exit. Let's see, sketch. Sketch on the right plane. Go normal to. And I'm going to create the profile up here. And I'll define it as 1. And it is 2.5. And ultimately it's going to be vertical. All right. So now I've got my guide curves that I got my profiles that I'm going to pass my loft through. So let's just pass the loft through, and then we'll add in the guide curves afterwards. Let's go features, loft. I'll select this profile, and then this profile. So you have to select them in the order of which you're going to pass the loft through. So now I've kind of got a decent shape, but I want it to be a little bit more defined. I'm going to create the guide curves. So let me go and back it out. I'm going to create a new sketch. Do it once again on the front plane. And I'm going to go spline. I'm just going to draw it like this. I'll select this one. I'll select this shape. And I'm going to select pierce. I'm going to do the same thing for this as well. Pierce. Okay. I'm going to add in another spline on this side. Okay. I'm going to define this in this curve being tangent to each other. And I'm going to just kind of get it kind of in the shape that I want it to be in. Let's say like that. That should be all right. And I'm going to move this out kind of like that. So I kind of get it in the shape that I want it to be in. All right. So now I got my guide curve in. I'm going to go features, loft, select my profiles. So this profile, and this profile. And as my guide curve, I'll select this and this. And that'll get me the shape. Oh, it's going to pull both of them in together. Because it's tangent together, it's going to shoot them. That's all one curve. So that gets me the shape that I want it to be in. And I'll hit OK. And I got my finished loft. So that's going to do it for this lecture. Be sure to hit that like button to subscribe and get more content like this. And I'll see you around next time. Later.